Comedy is subjective, Murray. Isn't that what they say? All of you, the system that knows so much, you decide what's right or wrong the same way that you decide what's funny or not.
Within a few lines, the Joker invites us to reflect on who makes the rules in society. Who decides what's funny? Who creates social norms? Who decides what is criminal? To answer these unsettling questions, we can turn to good old sociology. Conflict theorists argue that deviance and crime are not objective facts, but are socially constructed to benefit the dominant and powerful interests of society, often at the expense of the marginalised. What we define as deviant or criminal, therefore, is inherently ideological. From this perspective, we can see that some individuals are able to avoid legal scrutiny because of their privilege and power. They can determine the contours of the law and, in some cases, can even become its representatives. In Matt Phillips's Joker, we see the wealthy Thomas Wayne run for mayor, despite it being suggested that he is illegally skirting his responsibilities as the father of Arthur Fleck.
Look, pal, I'm not your father because you're adopted, and I never slept with your mother. What do you want from me, money?
No, I wasn't adopted.
Thomas's natural response is to reach into his pockets, lying and offering a bribe to make the problem go away, whilst literally washing his hands of it. The law is on his side. Similarly, we also see the three Wall Street guys harass a woman on the subway before brutally beating up Arthur. Arthur later kills them, which causes a sensation in the news, yet the media doesn't even consider what illicit deeds may have caused their murder. Instead, they focus on their high rank as employees within Wayne Investments. How could such respectable members of society ever commit wrongdoing?
Yes, all three work for Wayne Investments. Good, decent, educated. Although I didn't know any of them personally.
Meanwhile, we see the law fail the downtrodden Arthur Fleck. At the beginning of the film, he is presented as a troubled yet upstanding citizen that works hard to support both himself and his mother. Yet, he is powerless to prevent his sign being stolen from work by a gang of thieves that later use it to beat him. Instead of the thieving kids being arrested for assault and forced to pay back the damages, the suspicion falls on Arthur, and he alone is expected to fix the problem.
Kenny's music. The guy said you disappeared. Never even returned his sign.
Because I got jumped. Didn't you hear?
For a sign. That's bullshit. If you don't return the sign, I gotta take it out of your paycheck.
The law is clearly not on Arthur's side. Whilst Wayne avoids any suspicion for illegally dodging child support, and the Wall Street guides avoid any mention of assault, Fleck garners suspicion for a petty crime that he didn't even commit. This inspires his taking matters into his own hands through taking Randall's gun. If the law cannot protect him, he needs to protect himself.
You gotta protect yourself out there. Otherwise, you're going to get fucked.
This brings about a further question. Why is an upstanding citizen such as Arthur Fleck so neglected by society? The film paints a portrait of Arthur's constant struggle for recognition and love in a world where he is invisible. Even his social worker doesn't listen to him.
You don't listen, do you? I don't think you ever really hear me. I said, for my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed.
Arthur goes through his life not being taken seriously by anyone. His passionate dream to become a comedian does not inspire encouragement, but ridicule. Laughter and applause come not when he makes a joke, but when he is used as the butt of a joke.
When I was a little boy and told people I was going to be a comedian, everyone laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now.
You can say that again, pal.
Arthur, with his history of mental illness, childhood neglect and relative poverty, is excluded from the conventional means to achieve his goal of becoming a comedian. Instead, he needs to seek out alternative ways to achieve his dream. Initially, these methods are simple and relatively harmless. Arthur uses his imagination. He imagines having a father figure and being loved and supported, which gives him the encouragement he needs to pursue stand-up.
Everybody's telling me that my stand-up's ready for the big clubs.
Of course, no one actually tells him that his stand-up is any good, and so it's only a matter of time before this imaginary illusion begins to crumble. As social services are cut and the reality of his abusive, neglectful childhood becomes clear, he can no longer deceive himself. Arthur begins to pursue more deviant ways of achieving his goals.
How about another joke, Murray? What do you get
I don't think so.
when you cross
I think
a
we're
mentally
done
ill
with your
loner
jokes.
with
That's
a
it.
society that abandons him and treats him like trash?
Call the police,
I'll
Gene.
tell you what you get.
Call the police.
You get what you fucking deserve.
This is what Robert Merton describes in his theory of social strain. When confronted by a lack of opportunity, some individuals are forced to seek deviant ways to achieve traditional goals. Others may go even further and completely reject conventional pursuits altogether by becoming social outlaws. They deliberately become enemies of conformity and champions of anarchy. This is eventually where Arthur finds a home, and where he is transformed into the Joker. Of course, the Joker is not alone in this. He is joined by a group of anarchists that identify themselves as clowns, directly rebelling against what Thomas Wayne and the elites of society would call a good life.
Those of us who have made something of our lives will always look at those who haven't as nothing but clowns.
Therefore, the clown mask quickly becomes a symbol for those who rebel against this subjective ideal of the good life. In this sense, the clown movement reflects the consequences of widespread social strain. Some sociologists theorize that when legitimate opportunities are blocked, disenfranchised members of society will come together to create new opportunity structures. These are often deviant, materializing as subcultures or criminal communities. Within the anarchist criminal community of clowns, this alternative opportunity structure is there to be seen. Respect, admiration, and most importantly to the Joker, visibility is granted to clowns that commit the boldest acts of anarchy. This is why the Joker is so happy and confident at the end of the film. He has founded a new culture that he fits into, one where he can actually achieve his goals.
Stop laughing, you freak. This isn't fun.
Yeah, the whole fucking city's on fire because of what you did.
All units, fire reported north of Alley, code 4 for medical.
I know. Isn't it beautiful?
Notice how the definition of good has changed since the start of the film. Earlier, we saw Thomas Wayne use the word good to describe the life of decent, educated members of society, like the Wall Street guys. Now, the Joker associates the word good with looting, rioting, and murder. He never stood a chance of becoming a good comedian, but he can become a criminal mastermind. Through the Joker, we see that these dynamics of deviance are not isolated to Gotham City. They are also present in today's social world. This is why the film has attracted so much controversy. It is simply too close to home. Corruption, alienation, and lack of opportunity are all key sociological forces that lead to crime. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd really like it if you could just show your appreciation by giving this video a quick like and maybe hitting the subscribe button. Thank you very much.